When promotion first started coming around for Dragon Ball Super Superhero, I was not impressed and I was not excited. I actually wasn't really excited at all. It was all really just bleh. It looked like Toei Animation saw the people liked Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's animation style and decided to do an entire movie in 3D animation, but this isn't a game, it's a movie. People like different animation for different mediums. Then with barely any promotion at all, they released it in Japan, and that's when they decided to give us real promotion and basically spoil the movie, showing two new forms in the movie, plus a kind of returning villain. I'm the type of guy who doesn't like to get spoiled, so that brought down my excitement even more, especially since it looked like they were just throwing out forms just to throw out forms, and it seemed to me the writers were just caving into whatever a mob of fans cried out for, like how in the manga now Vegeta has a purple form that's apparently on par with Goku's Ultra Instinct. I haven't read the latest arcs for the manga, but it looks like that fans just couldn't let Goku be so far ahead, so they cried out for Vegeta to get his own thing that isn't a copy of Goku's form, and then they got what they wanted, but with some purple. And with Gohan, people continually cried out for a Super Saiyan white form before Goku got Ultra Instinct, and well, they kind of gave that to Gohan now, just more grayer, and from what I saw on the internet, it looked like his hair was just ridiculously designed with how high the length was. But even though this was nowhere near as hype for me to go see as the Broly movie was, Dragon Ball still is my favorite anime series ever created, and I've been watching since I was about 3 years old. That's 20 years of this stuff. So today I finally saw the movie, and well, of course I would have liked a different animation style, but there wasn't a single moment where I didn't like the movie. I liked this movie. Now, it did do the typical Dragon Ball Super thing where instead of being original, it just feeds you nostalgia by calling back to Dragon Ball Z, but my gosh, it worked. How they beat the main villain got me in the feels. The father-son Kamehameha is my favorite moment in all of anime, and well, I'm going to get into spoilers now, but this time Gohan kills Cell with Piccolo using the special beam cannon. My gosh, I felt that. Piccolo being another father figure, so instead of doing Goku's signature move, Gohan does Piccolo's, and Piccolo holds Cell down like how Goku held down Raditz, and he's a giant like in the original Dragon Ball, and wow bro, wow. Was the story all that great and the fights better than the last movie? No, not really, but the nostalgia got me. The jokes landed for me, I liked all the characters. Gamma 2 dies, and I was like, wow, I actually really liked him. Now we're left with just Gamma 1, who has less personality. And Gamma 2 dies Thanos style. He disintegrates into ash and goes away, just to make sure us as an audience knows he's really dead. Cell was in no way Cell other than the fact he looked like Cell, so that disappointed me. He's stuck in second form Cell, and I really thought he was going to absorb one of the new androids like Gamma 2 especially, but he didn't and just stood in that form just as a giant. He was really just a mindless beast, kind of like Hirudegan from the Wrath of the Dragon movie. So basically it was like Hirudegan returned, not Cell. I thought Cell was going to regenerate, but this Cell isn't the real Cell. It's just some beast android thing that happens to look like Cell and be called Cell Max. And also Gotenks. How happy was I to finally see Goten and Trunks as teenagers, as they are supposed to look. They have been teenagers for a while now, like ever since Super started, and yet they still look 7 and 8 years old. In fact, in the last movie, they looked even younger than they did in all the episodes of Super, which made absolutely no sense. And basically, they kind of try to explain that in this movie of how now they look way older than they did. They just skipped. It's basically, they say Saiyans, they live basically in a young form until all of a sudden they get a random growth spurt. However, that didn't happen with Gohan. Gohan literally clearly looked different from his kid form to his basically preteen form as Teen Gohan in the Cell Saga. So I guess Goten and Trunks are more closely related to their Saiyan DNA, even though Gohan was the one with the tail. Yeah, whatever, we'll just accept it. And I'm also pretty much happy that they don't look like adults, like basically how they did at the end of Dragon Ball Z. I'm glad they did not just skip all the way to that, and they still look like teenagers, which is good. The only thing though is they fuse and they turn into Gotenks, except it's not really Gotenks. They turn into fat Gotenks, and it's okay for a joke, but that's all we get for Gotenks in the whole movie. Fat Gotenks is fighting. Then at the very end, when the whole battle is over, Goten and Trunks fuse again, but we don't see Gotenks. Are you serious? Gotenks is one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z characters, and we don't really see him in this movie. We're just kind of teased. And also, when they fuse into Fat Gotenks, I might be remembering wrong, but when I was watching that movie, I'm pretty sure his hair was black and purple, like how it usually is. Which the only reason why that doesn't make sense now is because they retconned Trunks' hair to be blue. So wouldn't Gotenks' hair be black and blue instead of black and purple, since Trunks' hair isn't purple anymore, it's blue? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, overall, not a bad movie. Gohan was very cool in this movie compared to the rest of Super. The Cell arc, Gohan Super Saiyan 2, Gohan killing Cell, Cell as a villain. These are my favorite things from Dragon Ball Z episodes, and they pretty much called back on all that stuff, even with Gohan's new transformation being like how he transformed in Super Saiyan 2. But Broly was my favorite villain, but not including movies. Cell is my favorite villain, but this just isn't Cell, so I wasn't really hyped with him. I did enjoy the Gamma androids more, which kind of is a little sad because I would have liked Cell to actually be cooler than what he was. I also like how Gohan's ultimate form and his regular form and his Super Saiyan forms and his new form that they just brought out are all very distinct in how they look. His base hair is now kind of like a mix between what his hair was when he was teen Gohan versus adult Gohan, and when he goes into Ultimate Gohan, his hair reverts back to how it was when he has always been Ultimate Gohan. So he usually has that hairstyle to begin with. All they were like was, let's just add a bang, since, you know, well, that'll be the distinction. But now literally it is much different, so that was pretty nice to see from a design perspective. But overall, this movie is a 7 out of 10 for me, as my review having literally just seen the movie. So guys, let me know what you guys think. My name's Konjik, I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
And I can say that I'm great, yeah, I can say that I'm perfect. I ain't the one that was out here saving lives, I was purchased. Now we about to take you out if you try to act toxic. I'ma send you straight up to my main man, Konjik.